Yo, what up? It's DJ Kash, the Fly Haitian Kid, of course. By the title, you see who I got. My man, my homie, DJ Sense in the building.
Yeah.
One time. How you, my G?
I'm good, man. Cash, my brother, I appreciate you for having me on here, man.
I appreciate you for coming through, man. Like,
yes, sir.
I've known you for a long time now, bro.
Long time.
Long time.
Do you remember how we met?
Motions?
Motions.
All right, it was called Motions.
I think you used to do Fridays?
Saturdays.
Oh, you did Saturdays. I did Fridays. Me and Canon did Fridays.
Yeah.
And I think I remember, I went on a Saturday and you was DJing. I was like, yo, who is this dude? You was killing it.
That's exactly how it went, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
exactly how it went. And then it was like, yo, man, let's do lunch or something. Let's link up. And then we linked up.
Yup.
We found out we got a lot in common, both from up north and all that good stuff. So
yeah.
And the rest is history, man.
Yeah,
That was different times. That was a different Atlanta.
Definitely different times, man. I want to salute you, man, because you killing a Bomber Tuesday.
Thank you, bro.
I watch, how you grew that. I love your brand. You one of my favorite DJs.
Nah, thank you, bro.
You know
that
what
means
I'm
a lot.
saying? Yeah.
When DJs tell me that I'm their favorite DJ, you know what I'm saying? DJs I respect, I'd be like, man, that's
definitely,
crazy.
Yeah, you definitely in my top 5, man.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I mean? And then
Thank you.
we done linked up in Dubai, you know what I'm saying? And you just cornering the market on what you're doing. So
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. I've loved, like, this. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you here is because what I was gonna say is, like, I love a lot of the contributions you made to the city and to music.
Appreciate
and
that.
I think maybe a lot of people don't know, because you be like kind of like a laid back dude, son. Sometimes I think maybe too laid back.
I've been accused of that.
Yeah, I think sometimes too, because I don't think sometimes people realize your contribution.
That could be true. I guess I always, the way I was just brought up and raised, like I always wanted my work to kind of speak for itself. I ain't want to be like, yeah, I did this, I did that. I ain't want to be that dude. I wanted to be like put in the work. You know what I mean? Like that's the way my family raised me. Like,
Right.
let your work speak. And for better or for worse.
Right. So, like, for those who don't know, how I know you and what I know your work to be was from the Aphilliates, which were like running Atlanta. When I first came, I was just like, geez. I mean, not just Atlanta, to be honest, everywhere.
Yeah.
If you had a mixtape, if you owned a mixtape, and if you only owned one mixtape, chances are it was an Aphilliates mixtape. You know what I'm saying? So I know you from those days. Like, I remember coming, and then I remember you even doing like your own R&B mixtapes, right?
Yeah, Rhythm and Streets. Yeah.
Rhythm and Streets. So, like, a lot of people don't know, like, those mixtapes kind of like is what helped elevate ATL be ATL.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, bro. Like,
I know, because it's like, we was some young cats doing it, just getting out of school, Clark Atlanta University. And, we grew up off the New York mixtape scene, the Clues, the Capris, Ron G's, because he was heavy with the R&B stuff. That was one of, my people that inspired me. Flex, all the New York, K-Slay. And, we felt like it was a void in Atlanta. And, at the time, and shout out DJ Jelly, Monte, Edward J, everybody, those the homies, they had Atlanta on Smash. And we felt like we had a space where we could, bring that influence from being, being from Philly, but, Philly was getting all the New York mixtapes. So we felt like that was, a void that we could fill, you know what I mean? And like give a platform for like artists that had bars, because it was a stereotype that, artists in the South, it was all about party music and club music and bass music and stuff like that. But when you got the T.I.s and the Ludacris's and all those our Jeezys and all them coming to our crib,
right?
It was coming to me and Drama apartment.
Wait, let's back. How did it even start? Like, cause I know the three of y'all are from Philly,
Yeah.
And then for those who don't know, the Aphilliates is a makeup of you, Drama, and Canon.
Yeah.
So, and all of y'all are from Philly, hence the name.
That's how we put it.
Aphilliates,
That was the whole. The A is Atlanta. The P. That's why I spelled Aphillates because the Philly, and the whole meaning was you affiliated with anything that's hot, new, and fresh. You know what I mean? That was a whole
like a play on words.
Yeah.
We from Philly,
Yeah.
and we affiliated with everything. You know?
Yup,
And
yup.
the A for Atlanta.
Yup,
Like,
yup,
okay, that's
yeah,
dope. I never
yeah,
knew that.
yup.
That's dope. So, did y'all know each other in Philly, or did y'all meet?
I knew who Drama was from the high school DJ scene, but we wasn't cool. And then it just coincidentally, we end up staying in the same dorm freshman year at Clark. And then people was like, when I was moving in, they was like, yo, it's a DJ on the second floor. And I was on the third floor. He lived in 215. And it was funny because he used to be hyped because 215 is the Philly area code. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, he was hype off that. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm in 215 and I'm from
Talk
Philly.
about fate.
Yeah.
Gee, that's crazy.
And I stayed in 332 and everybody was like, yo, you know, it's another, I guess they knew I was a DJ because I brought my turntables in and stuff like that. And then they was like, yo, it's another DJ downstairs, you know, because they seen that we was bringing in our crates and records, you know, true turntable DJs, you know what I'm saying?
It wasn't hiding it. It wasn't, you had a book bag and that's it.
Nah, it was crates, milk crates, because you couldn't afford the cute cases and stuff, you know what I mean? So he just came up and knocked on my door and was like, yo, you a DJ? I'm like, yeah. And then he just gets on my tables and just starts battling. My best friend was in the room like, yo, you just gonna let him come in your room and do that? And then I did my thing, and then John saw that I wasn't like no, you know, rookie or nothing, and he gave me a look, and he was like, oh, all right, you know what I mean? And then we kind of just linked, like, you know what I mean? He had all the hip hop, videotapes and stuff like Wild Style and Beat Street and all the classic stuff. And so I would go to his room and he had all the kung fu movies and all of that. So I would just go to the room and watch. He loved watching all them videotapes. So I would just come to his room and we just watch all that, go to Earwax and start buying records and stuff. And then, we end up becoming friends. And then, we would do parties and stuff like that. And, people would ask both of us to DJ. Like, they book him and then they book me and we end up DJing together. You know how I go.
Right.
And then we just had a really good chemistry. You know what I mean? Like his strengths was my weaknesses. My strengths was his weaknesses. You know what I mean? And then so the whole party as a whole, it was just complete from beginning to end. So we kind of formed a partnership and formed a union. And we just started booking parties with each other.
Right.
And it wasn't even affiliates or nothing. It was just DJ Sense and DJ Drama and DJ Sense. It wasn't no affiliates. It wasn't none of that. And we just kept doing it so much that they started booking us as a team. You know what I mean? Right. So we was getting money. We was breaking bread together. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money. You know what I mean? We was getting paid $120. Split
decent for college kids.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I didn't have to get a job. That was my job.
Right.
And after a while, the affiliate thing didn't come until we were super friends at first. So I was interning at 97.5, which was 107.9 back. It was 107.9, but it was 97.5 back in the day.
Right.
I was interning. That's how I met Ludacris, who was Chris Lover. I met DJ Mars. I met DJ Trauma. That's how I met AG, because he was always up there booking the commercials and stuff like that. I met my man Biddy. They was doing the clubs. Biddy and AG was doing all the clubs, and I was just this young DJ. And I was heavy on the college scene, and that's how I would do certain college parties, and Biddy would be partnering with Jashad, and he would throw a lot of parties and book me. And then he was like, yo, I'm gonna get you to start doing the Velvet Room, da-da-da-da. And then, so I started doing Velvet Room, the first Velvet Room on Peachtree, opening up for Mars, Fahrenheit, Cersei, Nabs.
Velvet Room was always like the iconic.
Yo, I was like a senior in college. I thought I was the man. I was doing I was opening up for Mars and all of, and Cersei and Nabs and all of them. And the next day I had a test. I thought I was I wasn't even out of school yet. So at the same time, I was interning at 97.5.
Right.
And like I said, that's how I met like Luda. Empress Cersei took me under his wing. Mars took me under his wing. And I started hanging out with them and being like their understudy. And Mars would like take me around the city and, certain clubs and stuff like that.
Mars and them Super Friend Wave was crazy too, though.
Yeah, so I was there. I was the baby of that.
Word.
Yeah,
okay,
I was the
their wave was. I remember hearing about them in New York, and I just remember being like, "Oh wow, that's like." I just remember like that was just like a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
They had the city on lock, like as far like the club scene and all the high end parties and high end clubs. So just think about, I was like the baby of that. And Mars, one time he scooped me, and he was like, you want to be involved with the big boys? I'm gonna take you to be involved with the big boys. And he took me to this meeting. It was like some high society meeting. And it's like Mars, Trauma, JC, Frank Ski, DJ Doc,
Frank Ski was a super friend?
Frank Ski was a super
Yo, I
friend.
never knew that, bro.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I can't even.
Yo, Mars and them had it on Smash.
Yeah, Mars was like the Funkmaster Flex of Atlanta.
Yeah,
he had the radio on Smash. He was doing all the hot parties, and then him and Trauma, they had this mix show on 97.5 called the Emergency Room.
Mm-hmm.
So then Trauma called me because him and Mars, they kind of was the brains of Super Friends.
Right.
So Trauma was like, "Yo, we gonna put you on Emergency Room." So that's kind of like how I learned
How radio works.
how the radio and all that. And I was Cersei's intern answering the phone for him. So that's how I met Lil Jon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they was running B&Me together, and John would come up there on Tuesdays and co-host with Cersei. So I was soaking everything in, and that's how. And then Mars eventually was like, "Yo, you gonna be a new recruit for the Super Friends."
That's hard.
Yeah. And then after that, it was a time later, a couple months later or 6 months later, I can't remember. They was like, "Yo, we want to add some more." And I was like, "Yo, you got to add my man DJ Drama." You know what I'm saying? And then Drama was like, "Yo, you got to add my man Canon." And then that's how it went.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
So we was this younger generation of Super Friends.
So at what point do you say we're going to do our own thing?
So while we was still Super Friends, we was doing we started the mixtapes at that time. So at the same time, the evolution of Gangsta Grillz, we started, it was a birthday bash. I remember it was I think it was the one Jermaine Dupri brought out Jay-Z. It was crazy. Yeah. So I would see these tents at Lakewood, and I saw Jelly and Monte killing selling mixtapes. I was like, "Yo, Jelly and Monte killing them
And the mixtapes was $10.
Yeah. And everybody, long line. I said, "Yo, we got to make mixtapes." And Cersei must have saw that too. So a year later, Cersei was like, "Yo, I see what you." We still had the mixtapes, but we had other mixtapes. And by that time, we started calling ourselves Aphilliates or whatever. Well, we was thinking about it. Shout out my man Ace McCloud too. We was thinking about it. We was kind of like, we need to be the Affiliates, because we kind of was like our own crew within the older brothers, I guess. Right. So
wait, did that ever cause tension? They never felt no kind of way?
The tension got caused. I'm about to tell you.
Oh, okay.
So,
because just for the record, out of all the years we know each other, we never had this type of
conversation.
We've never really spoke about how this formed. We never spoke about.
This the first time?
Yeah, bro. That's why you think I called you up here? Because we never really fully had this conversation.
Okay, well, I'm about to tell you.
And this is huge Atlanta history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. So let me get on the part where Cersei. So Cersei comes to me a year later. It's birthday bash again. Cersei comes to me like, "Yo, I see what you and your boy Drama doing. I see what your crew. You and your crew. We was young dudes.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo," he just pulled out this wad of cash. "Yo, here goes some bread. I want you to go get the mixtapes, and we gonna sell them at the tent." I was like, "All right." And I come back. Me and Drum had this little duplex. I said, "Drum, Cersei gave me all this money. We got to do tapes. Let's go ahead and do what we got to do." So then Drum was like, "Man, we need a tape that's gonna make sense for Atlanta." You know what I mean? Because we were from Philly, so we was doing all this stuff. He was like, "We gotta do something that makes something for the South." So he was like, "Man, we gotta come up with a name."
Especially you got Monte and Jelly, they are South.
Yeah,
Southern
they
ambassadors.
They Atlanta to the fullest.
Yeah, they're Southern ambassadors.
So we kind of was like, what we gonna do? We was doing our thing, but so he like, "Man, we need a name." Grillz. I'll never forget it. Sitting on the couch, Grillz.
He think this is just y'all thinking of everything in Atlanta.
He like,
everything Southern.
Yeah. He like Gangsta Grillz. I said, "That's it right there. That's it." Right. Crazy. So we it was Gangster Grillz with an ER. Right. So we didn't even put our names on it. Because we was embarrassed to put it out. So, and I remember it had the first one had Eric Sermon, Just Like Music, because that was the hottest song out. It ain't got nothing to do with Atlanta, but it was all the rest of the songs were Southern songs.
But at this point, y'all are young, y'all are new, y'all don't have no exclusives, no freestyles.
We don't have nothing.
So it's basically just the hot songs.
Whatever the hot songs were.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was like a top 100 type.
Right.
So we put that joint together. It was like a grill, and it said Gangster Grillz. printed them up amongst other tapes, and that ended up being a best-selling tape at the thing. Made Cersei his money back, you know what I mean? And that idea, like, I sparked in Drum's head, and like he wanted to keep it going.
Right.
And so then I introduced him. He came up to the station, and I introduced him to Lil Jon. Remember I told you Lil Jon comes up to the station all the time. I was like, yo, come to the station. I used to always tell Drum, come up to the station, right? I used to tell Kane and all them, just, yo, come up there, you know what I mean? On some crew, like, you know what I mean? And John was there the day he came, and introduced him, and Drum asked him, like, yo, like, can you host my joint?
Right.
And so John was like, yeah. John pulled up. This was like, who you with, get crunked, Lil Jon.
But wait, what made him even ask that? Because
he wanted to. Okay, so he put out another one, and he ain't have no host. Well, how does that went? I can't remember. I think he. Oh, you know why? Because all the New York DJs was having the host.
Oh, because I was gonna say that. I was gonna say, like, at the time, was they having hosts?
Yeah,
like that?
all the New York DJs was doing it.
Gotcha. Okay,
all the New York DJs was doing it, so this wasn't happening in the South.
Right, gotcha.
He was like, yo, I need a host. And Lil Jon had the little who you with, get crunk. So he asked Lil Jon. Lil Jon said, yeah. Lil Jon pulled up. And that's how you got the famous drop.
Gangsta
It's the boy Lil Jon, da-da-da-da, and this is Gangsta Grizzle, da-da-da-da. He just did all of that. And then that tape did pretty good.
That drop is so iconic, though, bro. Yeah. That drop is so iconic. Yeah. That's recognized around the world. Like, Gangsta Grizzle.
I know.
Crazy.
And then so the funny thing is, after that, he couldn't find a host. So he was kind of like, man, I don't know what to do. So he just edited, because Lil Jon never said Gangsta Grizzles. He said, this is your boy Lil Jon, and this is Gangsta Grizzles. So he just edited that part out and put it all through the tape.
To make it seem as if he's hosting.
Yeah, I ain't got no host. So he's like, it's just, so he just put it all over the tape and stuck with it. And then, you know, at the same time, we were like, yo, we gotta do drops. And I'm gonna give props to Green Lantern for that. Green Lantern is who inspired us to start putting them drops all over the place. Cause he did this best of 2000 mixtape what's it called? He did this best of 2000. And he had that Green Lantern, and he put all that superhero stuff all over it. That's how we got the Super Friends drop, cause of the cartoon. You get what I'm saying?
But I think y'all drops is what made everybody like.
It was.
Y'all made the. I don't want to take away nothing from nobody, right? Yeah. But when y'all did y'all drops, it's like everybody else was like, nah, I gotta redo my drops. Like everybody paid. Y'all drops was like to this day trendsetter, Canon, and like everything. Like every single drop, it was like if you didn't hear that, it was like this ain't a.
I remember the day we decided we was gonna start doing that. We was like, yo, we need drops, right? So Canon found his drop, right? And then he came to he'd always come to the crib, and we was like, yo, we need drops. We need drops. We would just sit there and be creative. That's crazy. I'm not gonna. It's already out there how Cannon found his drop, so I'm not gonna put that one out there. You gotta do the research.
I don't know how to.
It's out there
for real.
Yeah, it's out there.
Now I gotta have Cannon on.
It's out there. So I'm gonna let him tell that story.
Okay.
But around the same time, so then we found the Gangsta Girls drop that already had itself. So then I found the Trendsetter drop. Mm-hmm. I just sped up this woman's voice real fast, almost chipmunk. It was, and she said way much more than that. Right. I'm a trendsetter, da da da. And I had another drop where Lil' Kim was like, "The trendsetter is back," but it just didn't sound as good. So I just stuck with that and I sped it up real fast.
And Drama was dramatic.
Dramatic. Yeah. That was the day we found the Super Friends drop and the dramatic drop the same day. Because it was basically from a Super Friends cartoon. Yeah. The Super Friends, and it was dramatic. It's like the Superman character was saying, right, you're being dramatic or whatever he said. Yeah. And then we just chopped it. We was just chopping it, being like real kids and creative, and just was trying to make everything fun. So that's what made the mixtapes really fun, because we would like dress the music with them drops. So it was like you was listening to remember like a child book where it's like you can hear the story and it's like
and press the sound to go with it.
Yeah. So that was like the whole thing. That's how the drops got created.
Cause me being Caribbean, we put some sound effects in our mixes.
Yo, let me tell you something else that y'all, the sound effects crazy and mic game.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's very important.
Mic game.
Very important, bro. Very important.
And your mic game, bro, you got one of the best.
Pause, but thank you. I appreciate
You know what I'm saying. Pause.
But thank you, yes.
Pause. You know what I'm saying.
But thank you, yes.
I'm giving you a compliment.
Nah, but like, yo, bro, I remember, like, I think even when you started giving me advice, like, one of the first, I don't know if you remember, one of the first pieces of advice you gave me was like, yo, you need new drops, bro. You remember that? I don't know if you remember that.
I don't know if I remember that.
I had E for real on my drop. He did my drops.
Oh yeah,
and it was no disrespect to E for real, but it just wasn't. It wasn't.
I wanted you.
It wasn't gelling with what I was doing.
Right. Yeah. Because you got a lot of swag. So I wanted your drop. Like that's what drops are. Like it gotta match your swag. Nothing against E for real.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that sometimes the radio drops can be a little corny, and that's no disrespect.
And
to
it was just like too like I would always drop in a little bit of Caribbeanness, and you were like, it don't fit. It don't match like your identity. I remember this whole conversation, bro. You know, we went to Vortex. You took me to the burger spot.
I do remember that.
And you were like, you picked me up from my crib. I was living on Huffer. I remember all of that, bro. And you were like, you gotta change your drops though, bro. He was like, it don't match. I remember you saying that, like, no disrespect to bro, it just doesn't match what you're doing. And I remember searching mad hard, and Ace Hood gave me a bunch of drops, and I chopped it up, and I had that. The drops I still use to this day. He was like, I like that.
Oh, DJ?
Yeah. You were like, I like that. Yeah. You was like, I like that. Yeah. And then I stuck with that. Yeah. So like y'all were just crazy with the drops. I remember that.
What really helped out a lot was that okay, you start hearing the Future. And if you made it from the bottom, you the chosen one, trendsetter. I'm like, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Or like Jeezy and all that. You like, that's what made it really sound crazy. It's so funny. People still play them songs, and I'll be standing right there. They don't even be knowing.
No, it's you. Because why did you drop the trendsetter from your name, or do you still use it? Because I mainly just hear Sense.
My name is Trendsetter Sense.
I know, but I mainly hear Sense now. I don't hear you use it as much.
I started. I'm Trendsetter. You just still be calling me Sense.
No, sorry, it's my fault.
No, what's so funny is I started off as I was DJ Sense, but you know, that was another thing that me and John was into. Like we had to be like, we was like superheroes or something, so we had to be like something,
right?
Like Canon, the Money Machine, like you know, Drama has so many joints.
He changed it every year. Mr. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Mr. Thanksgiving, iPod King. That was something that we was doing, and I was like, you know, I was always into like being cool and fashion and being fly, being ahead of, and I always was into like being different. So I was like, I'm a trendsetter.
Right.
So I was DJ Sense the trendsetter.
And then it turned around.
It turned around because the drop got so popular.
Right.
So I'll be telling people like I'm DJ Sense. They be like, oh, all right. And I'm like, then Candy be like, that's trendsetter. Oh yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm changing. So I changed it to Trendsetter Sense.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah.
So y'all start. Lil Jon hosts his tape. Mm-hmm. Y'all start moving more tapes. Mm-hmm. Like eventually y'all start catching steam at some point.
Yeah.
What does Mars and all of them say? Do Mars? Because they were moving like a unit.
Yeah. So like that it started to create a little bit, and it's funny because they my brothers, man. I talk to them every day. So this is just past talk. But so the two things happened. When we was getting like sponsorship money, the tape started getting so good, like labels will start calling us and they wanted to have, a presence in the market. So I guess their budgets will only be a certain amount for each market.
Right.
So what was happening was, because we was all one conglomerate, we wasn't our own affiliates at the time. We was just affiliates within the Super Friends. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at the companies that was spending the sponsorship money, they thinking they just giving Super Friends money. So our tape started getting popular. The Super Friends wanted to throw a lot of parties.
Right.
We started focusing on the streets and the mixtapes.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And we felt like that was a better impact on groundbreaking culture and artists. So
looking back at it, it's almost like focusing on online versus the clubs.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
that was
It's
like
the
the
same-
online of its time.
Yes, it's
Right.
exactly. You crazy for that.
Right.
So the companies started calling us and was like, "Yo, we want to help.
on the
We want to put some money into the." So we started getting sponsors, and helping out with the tapes and stuff like that. So then what would happen was when they wanted to start doing parties, they were like, "Well, we just cut y'all a check for y'all mixtapes." So so in their shoes, they probably like, "Well, damn, that helped them, but that didn't help us." So that started being a little funny.
So there was no way to differentiate.
No, because the company, it was so many of us. All them companies were saying we just paid the Super Friends. That's our budget for the market. We just paid y'all to do a mixtape.
And it's two completely different services.
It's two different services.
Yeah, it's two completely different services. So I can see where that can get
So
mixed up a little.
So that started getting a little weird, and then it started being like, yo, like the budget money, y'all. It kind of was like, yo, y'all messing up the sponsorship money because with the tapes, and we didn't look at it like that. We was just like, we just
Dropping
doing
tapes. Yeah.
We didn't think it was that. It was just different perspectives.
I'm sure now in hindsight you can see the conflict of interest.
Yeah, because we was all one group.
Right.
So, that was the first thing that started getting a little weird, and then the second one was, they got a record deal, and they wanted to put out an album. So the Gangsta Grillz brand was getting pretty hot at the time.
Right.
So then they wanted to make the album a Gangsta Grillz album.
Oh, okay.
And Drama wasn't feeling that because he felt like he put in the work to build that brand. So that got a little weird.
Right.
And then it was already,
Which is understandable though.
Yeah.
Like, it's understandable though.
Those were the two things. And then it just, you know what I mean? And then so once that happened, the mixtape and the party conflict was already brewing. So once that happened, it was like, all right,
we need to do our own
we
thing.
doing our thing. You know what I mean? And I was kind of, out of all due respect to everybody, I kind of was being like, yo, we need to I was kind of saying that, like, yo, let's just do, I wanted to just say, let's do our thing and then move on gracefully.
Right.
Where it ain't no,
Before it got weird.
yeah, it ended up getting a little weird and conflicting.
Right.
And then it's funny because, a lot at that time, there were benefits of being a part of Super Friends because we was being a part of the we was getting.
I mean, if
we
Super Friends were huge, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like
it was huge.
the Big Dog Pitbulls of the South.
Of course, yeah.
So it was a little scary, but we was kind of like, whatever. Like it was scary because you young. First of all, this is how we make our money, and we was like, all right, this is what we gonna do, and we just did it. Didn't know where no gigs was coming from. Didn't know who was gonna support us. Didn't know nothing. Some people stopped supporting us. That was affiliated with that. Some people did.
Because some people probably felt like they have to choose a side.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and it wasn't really about size being chose. It was just like, they've been around for a while. They've been doing major stuff.
Right.
So automatically, it's going to be certain entities that's just going to continue to just do
Doing
business
business
that
with
way.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but then there was a couple. I got my man Biddy was one of them. You know what I mean? He was like, nah, I'm gonna keep y'all booked. Y'all fresh, y'all young,
Right.
So he stuck with us. You know what I mean? And we started really focusing on just doing us. I was real confident that we was gonna be all right. And we just stuck with it and took it from there.
That's crazy. So then, like, when do y'all start? Because y'all went from doing a top 100 damn near, like, all right, let's just put the songs that's hot, to now y'all doing like special tapes. Like y'all were like the masters of this featured tape.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like that kind of came up from. I think like K Slay, rest in peace, kind of inspired us to do that. I told you we studied in New York DJs because K Slay was putting out like the Styles P. Remember when Styles P was like the hottest in the street?
Right.
And I remember K Slay put out a Styles P tape and it was like, so yeah.
Crazy.
So we was
It's like we need one of them.
Yeah. So it was kind of like we was being influenced by up top. That's real rap because we from Philly.
Right.
So, but we knew the void was there, but it was different because it was Southern artists.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think the first Gangsta Grillz that I felt like really, really went there was the one Gangsta Grill 6 when Drum had David Banner come through. And I had Killer Mike come through. I started getting real cool with Killer Mike. I became his DJ, and I was like, I remember he had David Banner come through and freestyle over in the club. I remember that.
50 Cent joint?
Yes. David Banner freestyled over in the club.
Word.
Yep. But even before that, I remember well, I'll get into that one. Let me finish this Gangsta Grill 6. And I had Killer Mike come through. And this is, I think we put like this one we had Reaction on there, and with him and T.I. and Bone Crusher, and so that was like real. And that tape, I can't remember all the other songs. Oh, Like a Pimp, because that was the hottest song,
right,
with David Banner.
Right.
And I remember it was a bootleg. It was a one of them flea markets, man. Bootlegging was so crazy. And we just went in there just to see. And I remember 50 Cent was the most his first album, Get Rich or Die Trying, was the most bootleg album, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about wall to wall, thousands. This is let you know how big that bootlegging is. And I remember I saw nothing but 50 Cent, wall to wall, top to bottom. And then I just saw nothing but Gangsta Grill 6 right next to it, top to bottom. Me and John was like, yo, we ain't make no money off that or nothing, but we knew we was everywhere with that.
When they start bootlegging,
yeah, when I saw that, I said, oh, and it made me feel good because I felt like pulling in the Killer Mike and then pulling in the David Banner brand. It was like the two hot new at the time.
Is this when y'all get the idea to start looking for real distribution?
No.
Cause that's one thing I didn't understand.
As far as what, the mixtapes?
Yeah,
or you talking about getting a record deal as a DJ?
The mixtapes, because one thing I didn't understand as a DJ, I think all of us DJs were trying to figure out, like, how were y'all how is it that I can go on the Ave in New York,
street hustling, bro,
and buy a Gangsta Grill
mixtape? It was
mixtape?
street hustling. It was store to store, phone to phone. It wasn't no distribution.
Word.
It was straight street hustling, bro. It was store to store. It was, and the money you made was the money you made. The rest you was getting bootleg. It was no distribution. That didn't exist. It was straight it sitting there calling the boring part, the part nobody want to celebrate.
Right.
Like calling them stores all day long. And then when we first started doing mixtapes, all three of us, me, Canon, and Drama, they didn't even want to take our tapes.
They just wanted.
They thought our style that we created was not gonna work.
Wait, when y'all started the Gangsta Grills, they thought it wasn't gonna work.
So we started the Gangsta Grills. I ended up starting Rhythm and Streets. Canon was creating series like King, and then we had all kinds of series. And by this time, we had all kinds of series by this time, and they wasn't taking them. They was like, nah, your tapes don't match.
The Gangsta Grills.
No.
Oh, what everything else they got going on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
they wasn't taking them. They was like, this ain't gonna work. The style we had, we was told that style was not gonna work. Facts. They like the style that Jelly and Monte was doing. And the Edward J style, they was into that.
I'm gonna tell you though, the first thing I'm gonna tell everybody that's watching this right now, and if you're an upcoming DJ, entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what you are, right? The first time when people tell you this isn't gonna work because of X, Y, and Z, that's when you need to press the gas. Because everything I've ever done that has become successful, everybody first told me it wasn't gonna work.
Right. They told you the Bomba Tuesday wasn't gonna work?
Every single person.
Wow.
Every single person I told, except for the owner Joe from Rocksteady. He was like, he didn't say it wasn't gonna work, but he was still kind of like, you sure you want to try that? Because he was like, he lived in South Africa, and he was like, I've never really heard this style of music being played outside of South Africa.
That's when you go. That's when you. Yes. That's when it's green light, bro. That's when it's green light.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my homeboy Pee-wee, he's from Ghana, and he's part of, because in the Caribbean we play in sounds, we play in groups. So he was from this legendary group that I grew up listening to called Pretty Posse. And bro, no exaggeration, 18. I was literally, we're so cool now and it's so crazy. And I told him this story, like, I used to be the first one in the club to hear them play.
Wow.
Because it was the type of thing where one sound played all night. Like, you know, the younger guys did the early part, and then, you know.
Yeah,
so I used to literally be the first person. They used to do a Thursday at this spot called Jam Rock. And I used to be there every single Thursday. Literally the first person in there just to hear them play, what they played and all that. So he was literally the only other person to be like, you should do it. You know what I'm saying? Just them two were just like, yo, let's do it. Everybody else was like, it's a bad idea.
Nah.
They were like, yo, you on every top hip hop, you slot on this radio, you doing this, don't do it.
Right.
But yeah.
That's what makes you a trendsetter. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of
So I can use your drum. No.
But that's the whole point, though.
Yeah, nah. So that's dope. So it starts working.
Yeah.
You start dropping more and more tapes.
Yeah.
So who was y'all first specialized tape where it was like, we doing this like for artists? Like it was like a tape just with that whole artist.
It was T.I. I think it was
T.I.?
Yeah, I think it was T.I. I think it was. It might have been like some independents or something, but the ones that stick out to me the most.
That hit. That T.I. was the one that hit first. Like
Yeah. And I remember that day, Drum told me, Jason Jeter called him and was like, yo, I got this artist. We kind of knew who T.I. was because he was signed to LaFace, but it kind of didn't work when he was with LaFace. And he still was like trying to. And I used to see Tip. I used to see him like out and about. He used to always be out. You know what I mean? And
is this y'all got this call before he signed to Atlantic or
yeah,
after?
this before.
Okay.
This is when he had to re-get hot. He had to re-get hot
because after that LaFace run.
Yeah, this was the LaFace. So like the I'm Serious, you know, What's Your Name Tip was out, but it didn't really take.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And so he was like, so you know, at that time, Tip was like very local lukewarm. He wasn't really a hot artist.
Right. He wasn't on fire.
He just was an artist.
Right.
And then, or it might have been around the same time. I can't remember. It was around whatever. So I remember they came to the crib and I was like, Drum, what was that? And he was like, some dude talking about he the king. He the king of the South. And it was Tip. He was telling people he's the king of the South then. You know what I mean?
Talk about manifesting and believing, boy.
Yeah. And I think those first Tip was just doing like freestyles. And I think when he was just doing freestyles and stuff. And I think Drum had him like rap over like some up north beats and stuff like that to really highlight his lyrical skills, you know what I mean? And that's actually how I got my idea to do Rhythm and Streets. I was doing the same thing with the R&B.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And
which was genius.
Thank you.
Genius.
That's how I ended up having Monica. Monica did my very first Rhythm and Streets 1.
That's right. I did hear that. I did hear that tape.
And I got shout out my man Real for that. He put that together.
Real Street Promotions. Shout out Real. Yeah. Shout out Real.
I was like, man, I was just taking the same formula that we had, and I was like, I'm gonna do this for R&B.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was gonna get somebody, I can't remember. He was like, man, nah, she whack. Nah, we gonna get somebody. He had the J Records account doing this promotions. So at the time she was signed to J Records. He was like, nah, we get Monica. And she pulled up, her and Melinda, her manager, they just pulled up in our little rinky dink. That's what I'm saying. We had this little rinky dink apartment, and we had so many major people come through. T.I., Ludacris pulled up and did a mixtape for me. Bone Crusher, Killer Mike, David Banner, Jeezy.
To the apartment.
This little rinky dink. Monica pull up, Benzed up, Louis bagged up, in the hood, bruh. That's when I was like, oh, she real. You know what I'm saying?
Without flinching, she did that.
And she was already like, the boy is mine, Monica, bruh.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
She did that without flinching.
Yeah,
like,
and stayed and chilled in my apartment the whole day and did the whole tape with me. The whole day. I couldn't believe it. Right? I'm just out of school. And they gave me this record. I was like, yo, we gonna break this record. This the record we gonna break on the mixtape. So gone.
Crazy.
So gone. Yup.
Crazy. So after the T.I. one, I know the one that's most recognizable to most people is the Jeezy one, right?
Definitely. But before that, it was the T.I. though. It was the T.I.
So it's kind of fair to say the T.I. one is probably what got y'all the Jeezy one.
Yeah, I could say that.
Right?
It definitely did. I'm gonna tell you why. Because On the T.I. tape. Well, this is definitely. There's a story about that leads into something Jeezy did, but I think that was after we did the mixtape. But so Coach K lived around the corner.
Gotcha.
We been known Coach.
Right.
Coach used to just pull up. He was just the old head that lived around the corner. Been known Coach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before all this music stuff, he could tell you that, and he just come and chop it up with me and Drama all the time, right? And he kept telling us, he'd be like, man, got this. I got to tell you this boy Jeezy. I'm trying to tell you, I got this dude Jeezy. I'm talking about this. Ain't nobody know who Jeezy was, bro.
Right.
And I'll never forget that. We standing in my living room, and he like, man, I'm telling you, man, this dude Jeezy. I'm telling you, right? So I remember he gave me the first little independent tape they had. Come shop with me. I remember I was, just because of my friendship with Coach, I was passing. They gave me the little records, and I was giving it all to DJs. Wasn't nobody paying no attention to it, right? And then that's when they just piped it up, and then they came to the drum and was like, yo, we wanna I seen what you doing with Tip and all of that, because he did the joint with Tip. And he that's when they did the Streets is Watching. And I remember ain't nobody even think that was gonna do something. He just thought it was just gonna be just a tape. Like,
Right.
man, cars everywhere started playing that tape. And I was like, oh, this is different.
Right.
And then the Streets is Watching got it hot, and then it was the next one that just really went
crazy.
It just went.
What was the next one? What was it?
Why am I going blank right now? It's the biggest.
Oh, Thug Motivation.
No, that's the album.
Oh, that's oh yeah.
Streets is Watching, and then it was oh man, why am I drawing a
Can't Ban the Snowman. No.
Is it Can't Ban the Snowman?
Yeah, right? Or it's something Snowman.
I think it is Can't Ban the
yeah,
Snowman.
I
I
think
can't
so.
remember what. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I just remember that
I remember that tape. I remember
think it
the
is Can't Ban
songs
the
on
Snowman.
that tape.
It is Can't Ban the
Yeah, it's
Snowman.
Can't Ban the Snowman, yeah.
And I just remember every car was just, and that's when it just got ridiculous after that. It was just got ridiculous.
I believe that's around the time I moved here.
Yeah,
I was just like,
yeah,
in love with that tape.
But let me tell you something. We didn't even know that nobody knew that was going to do what it did. It just did it. Nobody. No, it wasn't like when it was being made. Nobody knew that was going to be.
Right.
It just happened. I'm serious. It was just one of them things that just happened.
So, like, you hear Drum talk about this all the time. Like, y'all was so hot, so on fire. Y'all kind of like took the sacrifice for the mixtape DJ, so to speak, because y'all got to the point where it was like so crazy, like
it was beyond control.
right.
Couldn't control it.
Right, like to the point where y'all got raided and y'all got how did like
The raid?
Yeah, so the raid, did all of y'all get arrested?
They got arrested. I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got arrested. I didn't get arrested. Yeah.
So how did they? What was the basis of their case? Like, what was that?
Rico. Yeah.
So it wasn't for, because from what
They
I
was seeing
remember,
20 years on that.
but from what I understand, it was for counterfeiting.
No, it was they charged a Rico.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like running an underground operation. Yeah.
For tapes?
Yeah,
For
it felt
everything, or for
they
like
treated it like it was like a bootleg operation.
Syndicate.
Yeah, it was like yeah.
that is crazy. So like, people probably don't understand, and it was really serious. It was way more serious than what it was looking like.
It was very serious. Yeah. Now they froze my bank accounts. My bank account was part of that. I got zeroed out. We all got zeroed out. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and they took my car too. Yeah, took all our cars.
Did you ever get everything back?
I got my car back. I ain't never get no money back. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I got my car back like 4 months later. Yeah. And it's funny, when we went and got our cars back, the police was like, can we get autographs? We went to the we went to the thing where they hold everything. That's how you know so much underground.
Oh, like the evidence.
It was like rated spas, sneakers, all this stuff. They took all our studio equipment. They took everything.
Did you get that back?
Yeah, we got the equipment back.
So
And we got the most important thing was we got our hard drives back because that's when we started working on Drama's album.
Got you.
Yeah.
So why didn't y'all get the money back?
That was like part of the like agreement.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's like we're gonna let y'all off, but we're gonna keep this bread.
Keep that money.
It's like peace out. This
that money.
is the fee.
Yeah,
Like,
it kept that bread. Yeah.
so what's the conversation with y'all like after that when y'all regroup and like?
I'll never forget the day. I remember wanting to instill a lot of confidence in my brothers. I remember going to Drama House. He was so happy he got out of jail.
Right.
And he just wanted to just be with his family and wanted, you know what I mean, want to be with his kids and stuff. He just was real like happy to be out of jail. He wasn't feeling that. And I was like, yo, bro, we gotta like the moment now is like you gotta take this moment and, you know, you gotta display a lot of confidence and we're gonna go to the radio and we gonna be like, let the world know. Like we took that moment. That was the whole driving force of everything. We took that, like New York Times magazine came down, the interviews.
It was like
crazy.
let's like make lemonade.
Yeah, and
like,
then I remember the record label called like, oh my God, y'all the hottest thing now. We gotta drop the album. Like the radio station calling me like, yo, y'all, and then that thing just changed everything. It changed.
It almost legitimized y'all as those dudes.
Yeah, it changed everything. And I was like, yo, come on, bro, let's go to the radio. Tell the world, like, we stronger than ever. And that was the whole momentum even behind that first album. And that was the campaign.
So does that like, I mean, I got it, because did Canon get arrested? No,
Yeah, Canon got arrested too, yeah.
Like, I know that kind of has to feel heavy on Drum too, because like at some point Drum was like the face for y'all.
John was the face.
Yeah, yeah.
ain't no some point.
And ain't no
John was
John
the
was like,
face.
yeah, John was the face of y'all.
Yeah.
So like, how do y'all maneuver all these deals? Like, cause I know, knowing y'all, I know y'all have y'all little arguments and stuff. And y'all have y'all little, because I mean, bro, you can't name a group of friends of mine that we have a disagreement and have what you call.
Yeah.
But one thing I've from the outside looking in, I've seen is like y'all managed to not make it whatever y'all going through. If you agree, disagree, not be in public.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
Which
true.
I've always respected.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
That's definitely
you know what I
true.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've always respected it.
Yeah.
So like, how do y'all navigate? Okay, the plan like that. Like, okay, Drum, this is what y'all need. We need to do. We need to do this. Like, how do y'all decide who says what, who does what, who like? How do
Drum
y'all?
already knew what he had to do.
Oh,
So it really was just it was just really like helping him with information.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, okay.
like he knew he was the face.
Right,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
right.
So it's like he knew he had to be the one to speak. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it would be like, all right, Drum, like it wasn't no conflict as who was the one that had to speak. You know what I mean?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it
Right,
wasn't
right.
no.
Okay,
It
okay.
wasn't never none of that.
All right.
We all knew. Like,
Okay, right.
That because the way things went, that's how the Gangsta
don't
Grillz
even
brand,
make
the
sense
like,
to him,
you know what I mean. So we would be like, that's just how we was operating. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, when we would sit down and huddle, like, it would just be like, yo, bro, let's move like this and let's move like that. You know what I mean? Or he would call me like, yo, what you think? And you know what I mean?
Right.
That's how we operated.
It's hard to like a lot of like the position you were into, like this is just me observing from out, like excuse me, it seemed like everybody, like you guys all had your thing, which is why I think you guys worked so well. And it seemed like your thing was like, you kind of like from the far outside looking in, it looked like you were like the one, like if they had an idea, it would like to be like, yes, that's gonna work, or nah, that's not gonna work. Or it kind of seemed like you kind of, like you said, once the plan was help facilitate. Was that your role? Because it seemed like from the outside, it looked like Drum was the face, Canon was the producer, and you would help facilitate and mastermind a lot of the movements. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah,
from the outside.
yeah,
Like,
that's
about right. Okay.
That's about
That's
right.
what it felt like.
Yeah.
Because it felt like just watching it was just, I would just always watch and wonder how y'all did this stuff.
Yeah.
Like how y'all tapes there? How y'all moving like this? How y'all, so I would want to like, who did what?
Well, a lot of the tape stuff was Drama.
Gotcha.
A lot of movement and how to strategize and how to go as a movement was me.
Gotcha.
The tape stuff, I have to give Drama credit for that.
Gotcha.
He hustled a lot of that. You know what I mean? But as far as like how we gonna maximize certain things, or like when it came to like managing certain things, yeah, that was me. And then like a lot of the creative stuff and the production side definitely was Canon. You know what I mean? But as a collective, we would come up with things. Yeah.
I love it, bro.
Yeah.
I love it, man. So like after that, I noticed like you said, like you guys pivoted.
Yeah.
Y'all Drum started doing more like official music, like dropping albums and focusing on singles and stuff like that.
That was also in the plan. That was those are all things that
Were already in the plan.
yeah, like it was a plan. Like I told them brothers, we gonna get a radio show. We gonna have a show where we gonna play whatever we want. We gonna end up getting a record deal. All that, like,
Right.
yeah, like it was written out, like a vision.
Would you say that whole case thing kind of like fueled y'all to like?
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like
he already had the deal before the case.
Yeah, but I feel like after the case, he was dropping more like albums,
Well,
or like singles.
The album was already getting done, and then the case happened.
Right.
And then it was like a slow period a little bit, where it was a little muddy, you know what I mean? And then
Y'all probably didn't know what you should, or what to do or not to do as far as releasing tapes and music, right?
well, after that, it started getting a little funny. But then like, it was just a little transitional period. I say like after like 2010 is, it started going into
That sounds like conflict sense. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It sounds like brotherly love, bro.
yeah, ain't no doubt about that.
That's what it sounds like, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, bro. It's like it's three personalities. Y'all had not even Atlanta, not just the city. Y'all had the world on lock as far as tapes and just looking at like it's only natural, bro. And y'all are all very creative, son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but how's everybody's relationship now?
We good. They my brothers. Business wise, we've gone in different directions.
Okay.
But they always gonna be my brothers. You know what I mean?
I love it though.
Yeah.
What I do commend y'all for is whatever y'all do and y'all go through.
Yeah.
Y'all
I mean, they still like we still check in.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's definitely not what it was
Right.
a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
But y'all were kids too.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like
Yeah.
y'all were in college, y'all were kids. Everybody relationship ain't the same from college, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And y'all had a lot of pressure as young kids. Like y'all had a lot of fame, a lot of money being thrown around at a young age.
Yeah. I guess.
He's like, I guess.
I don't know. Like it was fun, but then like I also look at it like because we were so like immature about it, and what I mean immature, like it was so much coming happening, but you were learning on the job. You know what I mean? So, I tell you like this. Sometimes you know how people like bask in the moment. I don't know if that ever was. I was always on some. All right, how we do next? How we do this? How we do that?
So you never got to live in the moment and enjoy.
Nah, because it was moving too fast. It moved too fast. It was too fast, and then the music world, blah blah blah. Man, it's like, you know what I mean? Like Yeah, it moved a little too fast.
So where you at now? What's your mentality now? Like, how do you view music? How do you view DJing? Like, what's your plans now?
Oh man, Rhythm and Streets podcast definitely on deck. I got a lot of ventures that I'm working on. I'm working on this documentary, business stuff outside of music, and like you said, um, say that again. We was talking about how do I feel about music now?
Yeah, like just what's your mindset now as far as direction, as far as everything, like the music industry or everything, DJing, like where's your thoughts? Like,
I feel like there are pockets that it needs to be a little bit more trend setting. I feel like it's a lot of repeating
right.
things going on, and I feel like there needs to be some I think it's a door actually for innovation to take place. There just has to be creatives that fill that void. And I think it's being piled on with a lot of the same thing and a lot of the same narratives in the music, and which is what's dictating a lot of the energy. So like if you going out and that's why you hear people feel a certain way about going to the club and all of that because of the energy that the music is displaying. Now I can't say that with Afrobeat or my piano,
right.
Like that energy is fresh.
Yeah,
I feel like I know, and that's why you killing it.
You know what I'm saying? That's
I feel like hip hop needs some fresh energy and R&B. Some of the R&B, want to be rappers. They want to sing like they rapping.
Right.
That's not how R&B that's not what it was about. And now, and that's because hip hop has such a grip. And that's what I mean about being a trendsetter. Like you gotta everything is trying to be like something else. Nah, you gotta be the forward of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you give if there's an overall statement about the music, it has to have a forwardness. Right now, Afrobeat and Amapiano international music has that energy. Now when it comes to hip hop and R&B, something has to be done from an internal perspective. But it's a whole different lot of levels to that because what are the companies signing? What are the companies getting energy to?
Right.
What's being streamed properly? Like then we getting into a whole political situation about it, and that's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? And different agendas and stuff like that. But if you want me to just focus on the creative, there has to be a forward energy. When we created those mixtapes, that was forward energy. And I feel like a lot of the young artists need to come with some forward energy. You get what I'm saying? They do that, then we got something that we could work with.
My G, sense, man. I appreciate you. We might have to have a part 2, bro.
Oh, yeah, because there's a lot of stuff we didn't talk about.
There's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
So we might have to have a part 2, but I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man.
I called you up. I said, hey, Sense, will you do this for me? You was like, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, my bro.
Yes,
on
sir.
time, too. You know what I'm saying?
man.
I was late, which I'm never late. You know what I'm saying?
I'm always on time.
Nah, I appreciate it, bro. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir,
I appreciate
man.
it. My G.
Yeah.
Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with a friend, all that good stuff. Sense, let them know where they can find you at.
Oh man, at Trendsetter Sense IG, DJ Sense Twitter, YouTube.com/Trendsetter Sense, Rhythm and Streets, the podcast. So many things coming soon, man. Be on the lookout.
My G.
Yes, sir.
We out.